dat kan hij zich voorstellen.
That answer the question?
Yeah, well, how did it end with your mother? Because she cried there. How long did it take? Did she forgive you? Was there anything more said that is important for us to know?
Was there anything else that was said that was important for you all to know? With my mom at that meeting, it was just, we finished, we had dinner. Because the director was filming and he sat down and he's like, that's it. That's the end of the movie right there. And he sat down and we had dinner that was served and he joined us for dinner. That was the end of the movie. He knew right then that would be the final ending of the movie.
De directeur was op dat moment dat het... Jij steekt je handen omhoog van ik heb het niet verstaan.
Ik zal straks wat vragen.
Oké, oké. Dus de directeur zei, oké, hier stoppen we de film. Ik heb nu ook het eind. Snap je? Dit rondt het gewoon af. En toen zijn ze samen gaan eten. Question.
Moet je wel vertalen, want ik kan het niet zo goed in het Engels.
Oké.
Ik ben geboren in de oorlog.
I was born in war.
En mijn vader zat in het verzet.
And my dad was in the resistance.
En hij heeft het overleefd.
He survived.
Hij was wel zo'n Jood.
Hij
was een Jood.
He was Jewish.
Ja, maar hij was een christelijke Jood.
He was a Christian Jew.
En na de oorlog hebben we veel gesprekken gehad.
After the war we talked a lot.
Ja. En we kwamen tot de ontdekking.
And then we found out
Dat Nederland heel erg schuldig was ook aan de Holocaust.
that Holland was very guilty of the Holocaust.
Yes.
Ja. En omdat heel veel mensen,
Because a lot of people,
ja, die keken weg.
they looked away.
Ja. Want Nederland was zogenaamd neutraal.
Because we were supposed to be neutral.
Ja. Alleen er waren wel mensen die dus opvang hebben aangeboden.
And there were people who took in Jews
Voor Joodse mensen.
as a shelter. Is there a question?
Ja.
Okay.
Ik ben heel erg verdrietig van binnen.
I'm very sad on the inside.
En ik ben natuurlijk christelijk opgevoed.
I was a Christian. I was raised as a
Ondanks
Christian.
dat ik dus in een Joods gezin ben opgegroeid. Seculiere Joden dus.
It was secular Jewish family, but it was still a Christian upbringing.
En de vraag is natuurlijk, ik heb dus heel veel Joodse vrienden ook nog.
I still have a lot of Jewish friends.
En de vraag is waarom kon dit zo gebeuren?
And the question is, how could this have happened? And I think you mean the Holocaust during the Second World War.
Ja.
Okay.
Dat een heel volk, het Duitse volk, zoveel invloed kon uitoefenen.
That the German people as a people all together could muster so much influence.
Terwijl ze eigenlijk christelijk op meer
And then calling themselves Christian or being Christians.
Dat is dus de vraag van hoe kan dit gebeuren?
That's her question to you. How could this have happened?
It's very simple, in a way.
Het is heel eenvoudig op een bepaalde manier.
Human nature is to blame somebody else for our problems.
De menselijke natuur is om anderen de schuld te geven van onze problemen.
I would guess most of you read the Bible before.
Ik denk dat de meeste van jullie de Bijbel hebben gelezen.
The story of the apple and the Garden of Eden and Eve.
Van Adam en Eva met de appel, de vrucht.
Who is guilty?
En wie is de schuld?
The snake? Everyone's blaming somebody else. The whole story is somebody blaming somebody else.
En iedereen geeft de ander de schuld.
No one's taking responsibility.
En niemand neemt verantwoordelijkheid.
And we see that in society today.
En dat is wat we vandaag ook zien.
We're always busy blaming somebody else.
We zijn altijd bezig iemand anders de schuld te geven.
And you see the exact same thing with the people that are against Israel now.
En je ziet hetzelfde met de mensen die nu tegen Israël zijn.
Without bothering to take the time to actually learn the truth.
En ze geven iemand anders de schuld en nemen zich niet de tijd om te leren wat er nu daadwerkelijk aan de hand is.
To answer your question?
Is dat een antwoord op jouw vraag?
More or less.
Het is een bevestiging van wat ik al had gezien.
It's a confirmation of what we've seen already and talked about.
Want mijn vader die is ook opgepakt en ze moesten dus weg uit Nederland gaan naar de interneringswerkkampen.
Her father was rounded up and he had to go to an internment camp.
Hij was very clever.
He was very clever.
Hij is uit de trein gesprongen.
And he jumped out of the train.
En dat was natuurlijk ook heel gevaarlijk.
That was very dangerous.
Hij heeft ook ons verteld hoe hij dat heeft gedaan.
And he told us how he did it.
En hij zat ook in de ondergronds verzet.
He was in a resistance.
En hij is, het was op kerstavond.
It was Christmas Eve.
Toen hoorde hij dat de Duitsers die vierden kerst in Zwolle was dat.
Yeah, the Germans were celebrating Christmas in Zwolle, a
En
town
hij
in
is
Holland.
meegelopen naar de kerk.
He walked with them to the church.
Ja. En hij is toen later naar de pastor gegaan en verteld.
He went to the pastor and told him.
En via het ondergrondse is hij thuisgekomen.
And then through the resistance he got back home.
En in de straat waar ik woonde,
In the street where I lived,
daar was een gezin op het einde van de straat.
there was a family on the end of the street,
En dat waren verraders.
and that were traitors.
Want mijn vader was de enige eigenlijk die dus terug was gekomen.
Because her father was the only one that got back.
En die familie, dat gezin,
The family,
die hadden iets opgevangen.
they noticed that, and so
en
they
die
told
hadden mijn
others
vader
people.
verraden.
And they sold him out again, they traded him.
Ja, en ik herinner me nog dat de Duitsers aan de deur kwamen. Als
And
klein
I can
meisje.
remember that the Germans were at the door as a little
En
girl.
mijn vader had in de kamer een paneel.
And he had a panel in
En dan kon hij
a
draaien.
living room that he could turn,
En daar is hij gevlucht.
and that's how
Daar
he
heb ik
escaped.
gevonden.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, Philomena. Are there any questions for John? More, baby?
Yes, ma'am.
I've got a whole list, but you can ask
Are
him.
you still, do you reckon the skinhead groups are still after you? Or
Denk je dat de skinheads jou nog steeds achtervolgen?
Beyond a shadow of a doubt.
100% zeker.
Yes. One of the guys that's into prison for attempted murder.
Een van die mannen voor die poging tot moord.
Years ago, there was an organization in America that made a list of the 10 scariest Nazis in America.
En ze hebben jaren geleden een lijst gemaakt van de 10 engste neonazis in Amerika.
He was on that list.
En hij stond op die lijst. Dat was een van de aanvallers van John.
I'm not afraid of the guys that tried to attack me,
Ik ben niet bang voor degenen die mij
but the
proberen aan te
guys
vallen.
that are trying to impress them by finishing the job.
Ja, maar ik ben bang voor diegenen die wat proberen indruk te maken op die jongens door het werk af te maken.
It could be here in Europe or it could be in the States.
Kan hier in Europa zijn, kan ook in Amerika zijn.
But I live in the most rocketed city in Israel, in Ashkelon.
Ik leef in de stad waar de meeste raketten vallen in Israël, in Ashkelon.
So for me, it's just when it's your time to go, it's your time to go.
Dus, en voor mij is het gewoon, als het je tijd is, dan is het je tijd.
I have seen houses around me explode from rockets hitting them.
Ik heb de huizen rondom me heen zien exploderen van raketten,
While I was filming,
terwijl ik aan het filmen was.
because I feel like that was my job to do. If I could do that, so guys like you could share the videos in the news and see it and go, wow, this is real, this is actually happening.
Dus, en ik filmde dat zodat mensen zoals wij die films konden delen met anderen en zeggen van ja goed, dat gebeurt ook echt.
Now, the government does not like us doing that. They tell us we should go and hide.
De regering is daar natuurlijk niet zo blij mee, die zeggen gewoon je moet in de schuilkelder zijn.
But as you can see from my being here, I'm not a big person on hiding.
Maar zoals jullie kunnen zien, want ik sta hier, ik hou niet echt van mij verstoppen.
Years ago, I came up with a little saying that I have, and that's fear and faith cannot live in the same house.
Ik heb jaren geleden zelf iets bedacht en dat is angst en geloof kunnen niet in hetzelfde huis leven.
You have to serve one master,
Amen.
Eén Heer zin.
Amen.
En dat is het.
and I choose not to serve fear.
En ik kies ervoor om niet angst te dienen.
Lola vergeet.
Loop me even.
Yeah, I'm
Amen.
not be afraid at all.
Ken.
I'm very much aware of the danger that could happen, so I worry for my friends.
Ik ben heel erg bewust van het gevaar, dus en ik maak me ook vooral zorgen om mijn vrienden.
On my social media, there are a lot of pictures of me smiling and holding a beer.
Er zijn op mijn social media, daar sta ik vaker met een biertje, weet je wel, en dan ben ik aan het lachen.
Which my friends know is the smiling beer pic.
Mijn vrienden weten dan dat is de lachende bierfoto.
I would not drink if I did not feel safe,
Ik zou niet drinken als ik me niet veilig voelde.
because I would not see as much. I would think a little slower.
Ja, want door de alcohol ben ik niet zo opmerkzaam.
And it's a message to my family, I am safe, I'm with people that make me feel safe, in a safe place.
Dus dan, dat is een bericht aan mijn familie, zo van jullie kunnen zien dat ik me hier dus veilig voel. Dus het is oké, maak je geen zorgen.
But if you don't know me, you think this guy's just an alcoholic, he travels and drinks.
Maar als je mij niet kent, dan zou je denken dat is een alcoholist, want die gaat reizen en dan gaat hij drinken.
And by the way, I didn't get a chance to go into a full intro. First of all, thank you guys for having me, number one.
Dankjewel dat ik hier mocht zijn.
Number two, I have seen a lot of, bring them home, the ribbons.
Ik heb hier veel van die lintjes gezien hier.
It means a great, great deal.
Dat betekent heel, heel veel.
It may not have happened to one of you. A friend of mine, I was here in May, not here, I was in Belgium in May, and I gave my necklace to a friend of mine. So take it.
In mei was ik ook hier en toen heb ik een vriend van mij zo'n ketting gegeven.
He went to a music festival,
Hij is naar een muziekfestival geweest.
and the guy came up to him and just threw his arms around him crying, saying, thank you, thank you, thank you.
En toen kwam er iemand naar hem toe en die heeft hem omarmd en die zei dank je, dank je, dank je.
An Israeli.
Een Israëli.
Wauw.
He said, it's nice to see somebody that supports us.
En het is fijn om te zien dat er iemand is die ons support.
So thank you, it means a great deal.
Dus dankjewel, het betekent echt heel veel.
And that is a message I will share with my friends and family back in Israel.
En dat zal ik ook delen met mijn vrienden en familie in Israël.
We are very much used to being alone.
We zijn er heel erg aan gewend om alleen te zijn.
There's a warning against coming to where we are now.
Er is een waarschuwing zodat we hier niet naartoe moeten komen vanuit ons land, vanuit de regering.
I'm staying in the city of Bruges right now.
Ik verblijf in Brugge nu in België, aan de kust.
A wonderful family said, here, not a Christian family, just said, here, take our cottage. We believe in what you do. We think you speaking on tolerance is very important. Take a house.
Ze hebben hem een huisje gegeven, die familie. Die zeiden, wij vinden het heel belangrijk wat je doet. Het is geen christelijke familie, maar die zeiden, jouw werk is heel erg belangrijk, dus pak het huisje maar.
But I need to leave in a week and a half, and the place I was going to is now like, we're not sure if we want you.
Over 1,5 week moet ik daar vertrekken en de plek waar ik heen zou gaan, daar zeggen ze nu, ja, nou we weten toch niet zeker of jij wel kunt komen.
But I've delayed my return to Israel until sometime in January, because I'm going to Prague to see friends.
Maar ik heb mijn terugreis naar Israël achteruit gezet omdat ik nog naar Praag ga om vrienden op te zoeken daar.
So I've got a few free weeks I'm not sure what to do with.
En ik heb dus een paar vrije weken en weet niet helemaal zeker wat ik daarmee ga doen.
So, next question.
De volgende vraag.
I'm wondering, blabbering. Yes, ma'am.
Welke link ziet hij met 7 oktober wat hij heeft meegemaakt? En 7 oktober toen, wat nu was Simchat Torah, was dat toen ook misschien? Ik weet dat niet, ja.
What link do you see with the 7th October when your attack happened and the 7th October now? And was it Simchat Torah at that moment when you got attacked? And is it, what is the link do you see between what happened to you and what happened last year in Israel?
The link that I see is that it's,
De link die ik zie?
I don't know how to describe it. When I woke up on October 7th of 2023,
Toen dat ik op 7 oktober 2023 wakker werd,
I was just thanking God that I was alive.
was ik God aan danken dat ik leefde.
And the alarm started.
En toen begon het alarm.
And I was very much aware, very quickly we all started knowing what was going on.
En we wisten heel snel wat er gaande was.
Yesterday, I got a text from a friend of mine
Gisteren kreeg ik een tekst van een vriend van mij.
whose husband was killed on the 7th of October.
Haar man is op de 7 oktober vermoord.
Sorry, ex-husband, the father of the children.
Ex-man, de vader van haar kinderen.
And it was just, I wanted to share part of his story because we went to his house while we were filming the movie.
En ik wou dat verhaal eigenlijk delen, want we zijn naar zijn huis geweest toen we die film aan het maken waren.
When we went to Prague, it was 50-50 if we were going to get killed or not. We didn't know.
En toen ik naar Praag ging, was het 50-50 of dat ik gedood zou worden. We wisten het gewoon niet.
So the combination between the two, I don't know.
En de combinatie tussen die twee dus, ja, ik weet het ook niet.
You have to ask God.
Dat moet je aan God vragen.
All I believe is that everything bad that happens for a reason.
Ik denk alleen dat al het slechte wat gebeurt er wel gebeurt voor een reden.
And I don't believe there's anything bad. I think everything happens for a positive. You just have to look for it.
En in die zin geloof ik ook niet dat er ooit iets slechts gebeurt. Je moet kijken naar wat voor positief effect gaat dat uiteindelijk hebben.
I was murdered, which got me here,
Ik werd vermoord, daarom ben ik nu hier.
which was not a fun experience.
Dat was echt geen fijne ervaring.
brain cancer is also what got me here, because some Belgian people said, look, you need to come and have a vacation. This was in 2015.
Die hersentumor is ook iets goeds, want dat heeft me ook hier gebracht. Er waren Belgische mensen die zeiden, kom hierheen.
So I believe everything happens for good. It's just, God doesn't owe me an explanation.
Ik geloof dus dat alles ten goede gebeurt, maar God is mij geen verantwoording schuldig.
My job is to do what he tells me to do. That's it.
Mijn werk is alleen doen wat hij zegt. Dat is het.
Too many people try and negotiate with him and say, look, I'll do this if you do that.
Veel te veel mensen proberen te onderhandelen met God. Ik zal dit wel doen als u dat doet.
And that's not John. I don't believe in that.
En dat is niet John, daar geloof ik niet in.
Zo, gamzule tova.
Dan zullen
Call
we
it
het
over.
wel.
En hoe oud was hij toen dat gebeurde al?
How old were you when this happened?
17.
17.
17.
I had just turned 17.
Ik was net 17 geworden. How long were you in the skinhead movement?
I was in the skinhead movement a year. I was with the racists for about 6 months.
Ik was in de skinhead movement voor 1 jaar en met de racisten voor 6 maanden. You have to explain that.
There are different types of skinheads.
Er zijn verschillende soorten skinheads.
Skinheads basically were a fashion statement in the 1980s.
Het was mode om skinhead te zijn in de jaren 80.
Actually, before the 1950s and 60s is when it began.
Het is eigenlijk in de jaren 50 en 60 al, dus lang voordat het begon, toen dat begon.
In the 1980s, it started becoming more and more racist.
En pas in de jaren 80 werd het racistisch.
It very much focuses on like working class people and people that believe in their country and are nationalistic, if you will.
Het focust zich eigenlijk op de werkende middenklasse,
Working class.
de werkende middenklasse die wat gelooft en ook in het land.
They were against the hippies, so they had, of course, no hair.
En ze waren tegen de hippies, daarom hadden ze geen haar.
They wore working style boots.
Ze hadden werkschoenen aan. En zo, so those are non-racist skinheads?
Unaffiliated, yeah, non-racist. They're
Okay.
gay skinheads, communist
Dat
skinheads,
zijn homo-skinheads, communistische
anti-racist
skinheads,
skinheads,
antiracistische
there's an
skinheads.
entire spectrum.
Dat was een heel breed spectrum aan skinheads. And that's where you got involved first?
I got involved with anti-racist skinheads.
Ja, ik zat dus eerst bij de antiracistische skinheads. How did you get to the other group?
Okay, how did I get to the other group? The group I first got involved with, a friend of mine met them.
De groep waar ik als eerste mee in aanraking kwam was door een vriend van mij, die had ze ontmoet.
I saw some guys you might like, so he invited me to meet them on his birthday.
Dat zijn wat gasten die jij misschien wel leuk vindt, dus ik heb ze op mijn verjaardag uitgenodigd.
So when I met them, I said, look, I can't hang out with you guys, I'm Jewish.
En toen ik ze ontmoette, zei ik, ja, maar ik kan niet met jullie omgaan, want ik ben Joods.
And one of the guys said, we're not those type of skinheads.
Maar wij zijn niet die skinheads.
Lifted his shirt and showed the white hand and a black hand cracking a swastika in two.
That's what it's, Dus toen deed hij zijn t-shirt omhoog en er was een swastika, wat een witte en een zwarte hand, wat die swastika stuk breken. Dat was zijn tatoeage.
And I thought, who knew?
Wie wist dat?
Now, that's good because I've talked to mothers, a mother that thought her son was a Nazi.
En dat is goed om te weten, omdat ik ook met moeders heb gepraat die dachten dat hun zoon een nazi was.
And my explaining that helped fix the relationship between a mother and a Jewish mother and her son.
En zo kon die relatie tussen die Joodse moeder en haar zoon, die wat ook een skinhead was, weer gerepareerd worden.
Wow, translation is so difficult, folks. I'm used to speaking just in English or in Hebrew. Either way, and now I can focus.
Ik ben normaal gewend om gewoon in het Engels te praten. Luister, als jullie niet meer willen, als de vertaling niet helpt, dan laat ik John gewoon spreken.
Ja, laat John spreken. Ik denk dat
Ja?
het
Okay, then I will give you can speak a lot longer. Maybe I'll give a little summation at the end. So,
All right, questions?
do it
Ja.
in English, not in Hebrew, because
Ik
that's
had
gonna
nog een
be-
vraagje.
Ja.
Hè? I do in Dutch, so that... Zijn hersentumor is door die slag gekomen of hoe?
Your brain tumor, is that by the attack that happened to you, that they killed you, or how?
The oncologist, when I asked him, he said, look, I'm not an anthropologist. I don't care about the history of your tumor. I care about the future of your tumor. He said, I don't know. I can't say for certain one way or the other. To finish answering what you asked, how did they find out, how did we get involved with the Nazi group?
Yeah.
two of the guys went to a club in Orlando, Florida, home with Mickey Mouse, the King Rat. And while they were there, while they were in this club, some Nazis approached them and said, "Look, come hang out with us." And my friends knew if they took off their shirt, they'd show the black and white hand, and these guys would destroy them. And they said, "Okay."
Ja, nou, hoe kwam ik dus van de niet-racistische naar de racistische skinheads? De racistische skinheads zagen die anderen en die hebben ze dan meegenomen en hun wisten van, oh jee, als ik nu wat zeg dat ik van een niet-racistische skinhead ben, dan word ik in elkaar geslagen.
So when the racist skinheads met with them, they said, "Give us the names and addresses of your friends."
We willen graag de adressen en hebben van jouw vrienden, weet je wel, die andere skinheads.
And one day there was a knock at my door, knock on the wood.
En op een dag hoorde ik dit, klop op de deur
Open it up, who's outside? A bunch of Nazis.
en daar stond een stel nazi's buiten.
And I didn't know if they were there for me or for my one of my brothers.
En ik wist niet of dat ze voor mij kwamen of voor een van mijn broers.
No, I knew they were there for me, because who else would they be there for?
Maar ja, ze kwamen natuurlijk voor mij.
But
Voor wie anders.
I have three brothers. If I let them in, they would start seeing Jewish objects in the house. They wouldn't know who to attack first. Me, my mom, my dad, my two younger brothers, my older brother.
Dus ik had zoiets van, ja, ik kan die niet binnenlaten, want dan gaan ze allemaal die Joodse dingen zien en dan gaan ze iedereen hier aanvallen. Dus ja, ik ga maar mee.
So I made a choice at 16
Ik koos op mijn 16e om met hun,
that if I'm going to die, I'm not going to take my family with me.
dat als ik dood moet, dan neem ik mijn familie niet mee.
So I left.
Dus ging ik weg.
And they drove around town, asking me how to get to friends with other people's houses.
En toen reden we door de stad en vroegen ze, hoe komen we bij die andere adressen allemaal?
And I was playing stupid. I don't know. I didn't have a car. I don't know.
Ik hield me van het domme, dat weet ik niet.
They were getting more and more annoyed.
En ze werden daardoor steeds meer geïrriteerd.
And of course went to the story of telling me, like I said in the film, if you about people that stopped hanging out and were mysteriously shot, mysteriously caught on fire, mysteriously run over,
En
mysteriously.
ja, ze waren mij aan het vertellen gedurende die rit van al die mensen die wat bij hun hadden gezeten, maar die weer weg wilden gaan, dat die om een of andere vage reden waren ze verbrand of gedood of ja, er was iets mee gebeurd.
And the driver put his hand over the back and said, "Welcome aboard."
En toen deed die bestuurder zo van, nou, jij ook, welkom.
What do you say?
En wat moet je dan zeggen?
Ik Jood? I'm a Jew.
Moet ik dan zeggen, ik ben een Jood?
Ik ben Jood, sorry. I'm learning. It's like that's how you learn.
Definitely.
Try and use it here and there. So I just figured, okay.
Dus ik dacht van, ja goed, nou dan, ja, oké, fijn.
Dank u.
Dank u wel.
Was it also a test from them to test you if you do not betray your friends?
I don't know. I don't know if it was a test to see if I would betray my friends or not.
Heeft iedereen verstaan?
Ja.
Handen omhoog, steek je hand omhoog als je het niet hebt verstaan. Oké? Spreken we dat af. If nobody raises their hand, then they all got it. We can move on.
Another question.
Yes, sir.
How do you feel it when you come yet to Europe, where football hooligans, where in the Islamic world, yes, with the protest pro-Palestine, also people who are raising their hands and doing the Hitler symbol.
How do I feel when I come to Europe and I see that there are people raising their hands like the Nazis did and are very anti-Israel because of Palestine? They say it's the Jews' fault, all Jews. It's scary. Like last night, I lit the Hanukkah candles. I set them in the window. The place I'm staying in Bruges, they bought an extra menorah because they have two windows on the street and they wanted a Hanukkah burning in each window. So they bought an extra one. They're not Jewish. They said, "Use this, please." And I set it in the window. And before I went to take a shower, I lit the candles, went to take a shower because I was coming here today. I didn't want to get up even earlier.
No hands,
Yes,
so
okay.
keep
No
talking.
hands.
So I filmed the windows before I went upstairs to say, okay, the windows are okay now. So this is for insurance, that everything's okay just as I go up. And it was still, that's worrisome.
Yeah.
Because you're very much aware that something could happen. When I came last summer, I came on May the 20th, I flew to Belgium. On May the 19th, I watched the news on television. And on the morning news on May the 19th of 2024, I guess it was an Israeli guy talking about being beaten up at the train station in Bruges. And that was, of course, very scary. But I thought, I'm going anyway, because my friends, no one asked my friends if they wanted to go to Gaza to fight. They went because it's the thing you have to do. This is what I do. And if I can fight like this, then I go. And if something happens to me, it happens. Same with them. We try.
Ik had nog een vraagje. Als ik zie in de film dat zijn vader was wel ook gewelddadig, hè? Heeft hij daar nog contact mee of hoe is dat afgelopen?
She noticed you mentioned in the film, and your mother as well, that your dad was very violent. Does he? Are you still in contact with your dad? And how did that end, that relationship, or didn't it?
I realized over the years that you have, yes, I'm still in, I can't say I'm in touch with my father. My father passed in 2008.
Okay.
On one of my trips back to the United States, I went to my parents and said, I want to talk to you about my childhood. And my dad became very defensive. He said, there's a limit to how many times I can apologize. And I said, number one, you've never apologized. Number two, I'm not asking for your apology. I'm saying, I wanted to say thank you. Because everything you did made me who I am. I like who I am. Most of my friends like me too. So, thank you.
Most of your friends like you?
No.
Okay.
Sabrina said she doesn't. She said, yeah. He looked like I slapped him in the face. Because people don't talk like that.
Okay.
But that's the way I choose to see the world. That if it's on me to realize that whatever happens to John, to make John who John needs to be. And that's between me and God.
Yeah.
You wanted a translation, or you have a question? A little bit. So the question of the, I'm sorry, I have to do
Good luck.
Hij vroeg hoe was het met de vader. Hij zegt, ik heb geen contact meer met mijn vader. Dus in 2008 is hij overleden. Maar ik heb van tevoren nog met hem gepraat en gevraagd, hoe zit dat nou vroeger, snap je? En toen zei zijn vader, ja, ik wil ophouden met de hele tijd sorry te zeggen. En hij zei, je hebt nog nooit sorry gezegd. En daar vraag ik ook niet om, want ik wilde jou bedanken dat jij bent wie jij bent, want dat heeft mij gemaakt wie dat ik ben. En ik vind mijzelf wel oké nu, dus ja, daar ben ik blij mee. It's a synopsis.
Now with that, I've been a few places where I've had adults come to me and say thank you, because they were trying to fix a relationship in their life. And I said, look, sometimes things happen because it has to happen. The example that I use is with Pharaoh. When Moses goes to Pharaoh and he says, let my people go. In the Torah, it says, Tanakh, sorry, it says that God hardened Pharaoh's heart. Torah, not Tanakh, Torah. It says that God hardened Pharaoh's heart. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Translation.
Okay. Yeah. So for me, that's what I saw, how I see the world. That sometimes something bad can happen to us, and it's up to us to realize that we have to forgive those that did it, because what happened that was bad ultimately leads for good. Which you see, what do you see here? Yisrael,
Yeah.
the map,
Yeah.
Beit HaMikdash, the parting of the Red Sea. So yeah, I mean, all the things you see around here are things that came from bad. The the Ten Commandments. That's all from bad stuff. And it's just, we have to realize to see, okay, who do I believe in? Do I believe in the bad, or do I believe in the good?
Yes.
Who do I serve? And that was John's decision.
Had je dan, I think, vraag, question.
So how do you then deal with like Hamas, what they did on 7 October? Do you forgive them?
Do I forgive them? It's not my place to forgive them.
For not like many people are part of it, of what happened there, like families, friends, mothers, children. Like when it would be, it is our family. It's all guilty people. It could have been any one of our families. So when it would be like your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, would you be able to forgive Hamas?
Unfortunately, I don't have to answer that question, if I could forgive Hamas or not, because it did not, there was an expression that at the time on the news that kept saying, the 7th of October, lo pasach habayit b'Yisrael. Like, a tragedy of the 7th of October did not pass over any house. It touched all of us in one way or the other. We all knew someone that was hurt, that was killed. Somebody knew somebody that touched. For me, the rockets were falling all over. I had friends that I didn't know were getting shot at. I didn't know that my friends was murdered. I did not know, and I had other friends that I would see them posting pictures of, please find, or if you see, search, or spread the word, so-and-so has not been seen. And so we all prayed that they'd be found, and then you start seeing the sad notices, the body was found, he was murdered. This one happened, they were murdered. And it's just, if I have a problem with forgiveness, it's the people that believe all the stories that come out of Gaza, that there was a genocide, please, if you spend a little bit more time researching, you'd realize there isn't. Why is there a genocide and a bunch of people that are, the people saying genocide in Gaza are the one, is skinny. And we've seen the pictures from the Holocaust of how skinny they are. The food is rotting at Keren Shalom, where Israel brings in trucks and drops off the food, because no one will come and take it and spread it, because Hamas takes it and steals it. And all these videos are available online, and it's something that, if you want to believe it, it's just your own hate and ruah, your own evil inside of you that wants to.
Yes.
I feel like that really what October 7th did was it gave a chance for people that have never liked Jews to be able to say it out loud. They've been waiting for a long, long time to have a chance to say it, and now they can. And that's something that I have a problem with.
So that is more difficult for you than on what happened on October the 7th, the Hamas terrorists that came in. Could you, because that was the original question, could you forgive one of them or all of them? If they repented, let's make it.
Yeah,
they say
there is no
they
forgiveness
say
without
we repent
repentance.
of what we did. It was bad. You know the son of Hamas. I don't know his name.
Yeah,
but that's
repentance. Yeah.
yeah. That's a very famous Hamas leader. His son, and he got out, and now he says they're all. You know, he's a vocalist for Israel. And if a Hamas terrorist would say, I join him. You know what we did was really, really bad. If he's still alive and he repented, would you be able to forgive him?
Okay, question for you. If somebody came in and shot somebody else in here and said, forgive me, I'm sorry, would they be forgiven, or would they go to court?
They
To go to court.
Well,
have to go to court.
that's why all the ones we captured, we have in prison
Yeah.
to go to court. We want to try and change laws in Israel to change it where they can be tried for genocide, because that's what they were trying to do, was Retzach Am, was to kill all of us, as many as they could. They were killing Muslims, they were killing Jews. It didn't matter. If you were in Israel, you deserved to die, no matter what you were. If one of you were there, they would have killed you. They didn't care. So forgiveness for me is, yes.
If you turn back, this to when you say like it's Hashem who hardens Pharaoh's heart, so that it is not completely Pharaoh's. So it's actually that Hashem is letting it becoming very hard for the Israelis at that time, or many other things that happen when you say like something bad happened before this. So, and actually Hashem is in everything, and we may not complain and not say like, why are you doing this? He's doing it for the good. So that's why I'm asking them, when maybe Hashem is in there to make it hard on us, that we cannot blame these people, but that Hashem has something. You understand what I mean?
I can't tell somebody else how to live their life. I know if somebody came and hit me, there's a good chance I would hit them back. So I can't
Justify it.
Can you remember that?
I think I understand your question, and I think it's always up to us how we respond to things that bad happens, but I still think it's a fair question to ask somebody to be confronted. Like, it's a fair question also for the father to be confronted with his former self and make a decision. Hey, maybe an apology is worth doing, because I also realize I was doing bad stuff back then to my family, and I would say, okay, it's fair if you say you don't owe me anything, or it has shaped me for the better, but I think it's really what shaped you is your decision not to
Continue the cycle.
turn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think there's, the Bible answers it. If you know, if you say I forgive you, you do it for yourself, for somebody else. If they repent, okay, so, but that doesn't mean there's not justice for the one who did, if you are a murderer, you should go to jail and get punishment for a murderer. Me forgiving you doesn't change that. And that's not what the Bible says.
No.
So I would say, can you forgive them? If somebody repents, maybe, you know, John repented of his bad ways, Kevin repented of his bad ways. Okay, I don't know how far he went. He told us here in the documentary he can't say everything because hate crimes have no statute of limitation.
Kevin has more other issues to do as well.
Yeah.
Kevin was a very violent guy after the skinheads as well.
Okay,
There's
so
probably some of that.
yeah, so he can't say everything in fear of maybe they will prosecute him. But I would say it's just, if you get a prosecution because of what you did, it's okay. But forgiving is then something, maybe it set me free and the person who is harmed. So that's what you see. But I would say with the Hamas terrorist, that was one question we had. What is the link between, what are the similarities between skinheads, racist skinheads, and Hamas terrorists? What are in what way are they the same, and in what way are they different? What do you think?
How are Hamas terrorists similar to skinheads? The unbridled hatred. Just released full-on hatred of just letting evil work through them.
Yeah. You're stomping?
Don't forget her. Don't forget her. She's
Oh,
waiting for a
yeah,
question.
Mark
He's
waiting.
waiting for a question too.
Okay.
So we'll get back to you. With skin, how are they different? I feel like they're different in that skinheads aren't, for the most part, jihadis. They don't want to die. They want you to die. They're not willing to die. Hamas is the exact opposite. They're willing to die.
Wow.
And that's one of the differences between the two.
Does that make Hamas more dangerous?
In some ways, yeah.
Yes.
Because they're willing to sit here and have a shootout with the police until they die. Whereas a skinhead would come out, no, let me go. Most of them would.
Most of them would.
Most
And
of
then prefer to go to jail.
Yes,
Yeah.
because in jail they become a hero.
Ah, okay.
They're worshipped.
Okay.
We're getting more and more questions that are building up, so.
Yeah, so we go to Margreet.
I found, I've learned a lot of this with, because hatred isn't the solution to anything. And I've learned from you that you fully trust God in everything.
Do you have any other choice?
And I think,
Tja,
and I
inderdaad.
think we all can learn from this. Because we all have to learn to fully trust on God, and that's what many people don't. I'm born on the 7th of October, so when I heard that there was a war in Israel, I was at my niece's house, and she told me of the war, and I didn't know that in that time because I was traveling when it happened. And it reached my heart. I was stunned when I heard it, and I said, well, we have to pray for Israel.
Thank you.
And we did all we could. So,
Most of us still do.
yeah.
At least weekly here, but most of us daily.
Which we're thankful for. Did you have a question, or do you just want to share that?
I just want to share this.
Okay, thank you.
Sir?
I have, what I get from your message is that hatred is not good, and but I think you can still be angry what the guys in Hamas did. So I think sometimes if we see injustice and we see innocent life being taken,
Tzedek Tudov. Justice you shall pursue.
yeah, inside you become angry at what happened to those people, or you see injustice.
I'm not happy with the Hamas at all. At all. I'm fully for leveling Gaza completely. Thank you very much. Yeah, let's start over.
Let's make it a pocket.
Basically. I have a lot of friends that have been in Gaza, and I have little things that I carry with me that when I travel that came from the terrorists that came into Israel with my friends. One of my friends on the October 7th, when he was called up, one of his jobs was to collect the bodies and the weapons of the terrorists that crossed the border. And little things he took, just gave, was like, here, take this, I got this, I got this. And I carry it just like as a souvenir, a reminder. And there are times I put it in other people's hands and say, this is what it is, this is where it's from. And they're like, but I also believe in the power of something else, the power of change. That it's on us to, like I finished the movie, I can't expect society to change, it begins with me.
Yeah.
And that's why the name of the organization that we built was You Begin Change organization, website. You Begin Change instead of Change Begins With You was the difference of 2,000 euros to buy the website. I'm not rich at all. I live on disability back in Israel because of the brain cancer. I don't make a lot of money doing this, like we joked about. He's like, how much do you make? And I was like, I don't know. I don't ask, I don't have a number that I set. Unless you make it a problem for me, then I make the number really, really high. And that way, if I do have to do it, the problem goes away. I'm like, it's worth it. Which no one's done that yet. They're usually like, later. If that more or less touches on the answer, I guess. Yes, you have more questions? I think she's filming. I think you can stop that and take pictures. Are you filming?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can stop that.
Oh. Thank you.
But I have maybe a question for I think we all kind of have the same situation, but I will explain mine real quick. I study in Brussels. I have to go through a prostitute Islamic neighborhood every day, and I do art school, so all the people are really left-minded, pro-Palestine. All the toilet places are there's written everywhere that they hate Israel. And I just wanted to ask how, I feel really verstopt.
I feel like I have to hide.
Yeah, I feel really hidden because I think everyone kind of has this situation and its own way. And I just wanted to ask do you have advice? Or how would you, because we really want to stand with Israel, but it's also really hard when all of your family is really anti, and the big problem is that they don't even understand. They're just so, they don't know anything.
A long time ago, I used to speak in American churches. I would travel around and speak in some churches. And when they would ask me for questions, I would say you have a choice. You can either trust the Bible or trust CNN. Take your pick. Take your pick. Which one do you believe in? This one or that one? And that would usually put them in, it's like a slap in the face for some, because they never had been faced with that type of question before. Do you believe CNN or do you believe the Bible? Which is your preference? Sorry?
No.
When it comes to dealing with the people that really hate us, I was asked to be willing to speak in Ghent, where there's also a very anti-Israel
Yeah, it's
group.
the same school system, so.
And I was like, why? Go there so they can beat me up? That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'd go and I would get beaten up. I don't mind because it makes the story bigger.
Yeah.
But for me, no, I don't see the point.
Yeah.
The biggest, in my studies of, there was a chapter I took out of my book about how to deal with protest. after the violent protests that came after October 7th, I took it out. Because what I put in was the number one way to change the heart of people was, and I've studied a lot about extremists, Muslim extremists, Nazi extremists, and you name it. Anyone that was an extremist that hated the other side, the number one way to change it was to say, hi, how are you? My name's John, I'm Jewish. And just break the mold, do something different. So one of the things that I put in was if you see a protest, bring extra water, give them a water bottle, because it's not what they expect.
And now you took it out?
Yeah, I took it out.
Why?
I took it out because I feel like it's so vile and hatred now, that if anything, it might be putting other people in danger. John has an idea that maybe if I walk over and give them a water bottle, they'll stop hating us. No, they'll probably beat you with a stick. So I wanted that out because I wanted people to be a little bit safer.
And I just wanted to add like one little thing.
Yes, ma'am.
And like all the toilet little cabins where there's all written hate for Israel and free Palestine, there was also one Shabbat Shalom. And I don't know who wrote it, but I was like, bless that person. Yeah, so I don't know who it is in a big school, but I was like, I'm not the only one because I did not write this.
And it's still there?
It was
Nobody scratched it out?
really small next to the I hate Israel and all
Did
that.
you answer Shabbat Shalom to you too?
I actually should do it,
You
yes.
should do it, because then the other person knows also that.
Yeah, so
Well, you can always spread positivity by doing the exact same thing, but I believe in being careful.
yeah, I'm also like I never wrote something.
We talked about it here 6 or 8 weeks ago, or maybe 3 months ago, about how can you let your voice be heard now? Because it's you know, I'm like you, a little bit outspoken, but I also live, you know, if you do it here, then maybe other people get hurt. And I want to be responsible for me. Okay, that's one thing, but if somebody else here gets hurt, that's also on me then. If I'm pretty outspoken about it. That's why we also didn't share the address widely for you coming here, because this is a remote area, and maybe we don't get hurt, but next week they will come by in the evening because there's no cars here and then demolish the whole place.
You never know. Yeah,
You
that's
never
true.
know. So we have to be careful. But we also have to make Israel let the voice be heard. So it's a balance.
Part of what you're doing now, plus what's going on the internet with this, can be shared and shown to other people.
Yeah.
Hey, this is out there, this is a tool, this is my cards, all the cards you see on the table, that's the cover of my book, From Hate to Healing.
Everybody take a card afterwards.
The entire H from healing.
Let's share them already.
I've got even more. If you run out, I've got more in my bag. Thank you. The entire H here, which is from hate, the H, that's missing out of my brain. If you look, that's a hole down into my brain. That's out.
Wow.
So that, and I'm able to do this.
Really?
That's why like I paused and like I don't know what I was saying, what was happening. So that whole portion of my brain is gone.
What?
Do you have more books?
With me, no. But you can order from Amazon and they'll ship it to you.
Let's start now, so we can, you know, we didn't officially do Haftalam, but that's okay. And we're gonna see to make a list. So everybody who wants a copy in their house, let's. No.
If someone wants to translate it, let me know.
Daiju Bojai, so that's History Foundations. One of these is not like the others, empowering and belonging, power dynamics and group conflicts, joining the big leagues, dangerous liaisons, turning point, faltering first steps, the trial, transitions and detours, coming home, Aliyah 2.0, a new killer, have a tumor, will travel, and Hamas attacks Israel. So that's from 140 on. It's so it's a book about John's history, his journey, and I'm sure any of us can learn something from this book.
Maybe something.
Yeah, but it's almost like eat the meat, spit out the bones.
Basically.
I'm not saying there's bone in there.
That's fine.
I haven't read
It
it.
probably is.
But if somebody wants the book, we're going to make a poll. So we're going to order them together because apparently it costs money, shipping cost. So if we can do it all separately and pay 20 euros per book extra, or we can say we do it together and pay a little bit and divide it by 10.
But something I started to say on my business cards, those business cards were all printed at Kibbutz Be'eri, which was attacked on October 7th, which was
Very heavily attacked.
major slaughter in Kibbutz Be'eri.
Okay.
I watched the news every day after, from the October 7th on for a long period of time. And when I saw that they started back up after a few days, I ordered cards. And before I came this time, I ordered cards again. Their shirt was made at Kibbutz Be'eri. You Begin Change is the name of my website.
You will get change. Yeah.
I'm not trying to show my butt, sorry. But if you look up the movie Escape from Room 18, it's my back and my butt. So my butt's really famous, which is weird. All right, yes ma'am.
I read a book about Hamas en ik zal het in Nederlands doen. Ik ben een boek aan het lezen over de Hamas. Er staat ook in de Bijbel het woord Hamas.
Hamas is also in the Bible. I'm reading a book about it, but the word is also in the Bible.
En de rebben die geven daar hun mening over.
En de rabbijnen geven daar een mening over. The rabbis give their opinion about it. This is not working.
Hamas betekent geweld.
And Hamas means violence.
Ja. En de rebbe zegt dat het komt vanwege Amalek.
And the Rebbe says this is because of Amalek.
Ja. En de Lord die waarschuwt regelmatig Israël voor Elohim.
God regularly warns Israel.
Dat ze dus niet in zonde moeten gaan, want dan zal het fout gaan.
That they have to stop sinning because else bad things will happen.
En speciaal voor Amalek waarschuwt hij.
And especially from Amalek.
Ja. En dan